Stephen Kwan, I would love him on my team, but he
Kills him.
is a pain in the rear end when he's playing against your team.
You are Locked On Yankees, your daily New York Yankees podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome to Locked On Yankees, which is part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Thank you for making us your first listen every day. I'm Stacey Gotsoulias. This episode is brought to you by Monarch Money. Take control of your finances with Monarch Money. Use code LOCKEDONMLB at monarchmoney.com for 50% off your first year. With me, as usual, my co-host, Brian McKeon. Brian.
Stacey, get ready for a rubber match. We haven't had one of those in a while.
Yeah, it's rubber match time. Before we get started, don't forget, subscribe to Locked On Yankees on whichever podcasting platform you prefer. Subscribe to our channel on YouTube, like our videos, hit the bell so you're notified whenever our videos go live. And we have revived the TikTok page. If you're there, you can follow us at LockedOn_Yankees. We have it on the screen for the YouTubers. Again, LockedOn_Yankees for the listeners. On today's show,
that's my TikTok debut, by the way. I don't have a private account on TikTok, so that's my TikTok debut. Is on that channel. So little history for all you out there too.
Yeah, don't search for my personal TikTok. Thanks. On today's show, we're previewing the finale between the Yankees and the Guardians. We'll catch you up on some Yankees news. We'll also tell you what's going on around the league because there's a story we have to talk about because it's something we've been talking on the show all week, and I feel like we have a hand in it, so we have to discuss it. But first, Yankees drop a game to the Guardians. They just couldn't hit.
Yeah, one of those games, right? They couldn't seem to get off the mat when it came to hitting wise. Don't like that they got dominated by the pitching that they got dominated by because the Guardians weren't anything impressive necessarily off the mound either in this game. Yeah. But yeah, it was one of those games they couldn't hit. They didn't hit. Feel bad for the people that bought tickets to these games.
Yeah. Those are a slog to sit through. I've been
midweek. Yeah.
I've been in the stadium midweek game. They don't do anything. The worst is when you're at a midweek game and they get blown out. I've been at a couple of those. May 9th, 2006 against the Red Sox. They started off well, actually. Jason Giambi hit a home run. And then the Red Sox scored like 14 unanswered runs. Oh, nice. And it was tremendously awful. And what was worse was I had really good seats because one of our buyers gave me seats behind the plate. Not right behind the plate, but the second section behind the plate. And I was like, wow. And then they lose 14-3 on the weeknight. Yeah, it was rough. Speaking of rough, Clarke Schmidt's first inning gave up 3 runs. Stephen Kwan, I would love him on my team, but he is a pain in the rear end when he's playing against your team.
Yep, kills the Yankees too.
Unbelievable. And the thing about this that bothers me is once he got out of the first inning, Schmidt, he looked great. The walk, home run, 2 doubles. He even had 6 swings and misses through 2 innings, and he ended up getting 8 strikeouts on the night. So it's just frustrating that he had one of those games because that used to be his issue where he'd have like the rough first inning and then he'd be fine. And that's what happened in this game. And when the offense isn't doing anything against the other pitcher, it just makes for a long, frustrating night for the fans.
Hard to recover when your offense doesn't do anything. And I think it's worth mentioning too. It does feel like he's having one of those years that pitchers have, unfortunately, when they don't get a full spring training, where it just seems like, and you see a lot of those pitchers, right? They have one good start, followed by a bad start, followed by a good start, followed by a start that looks like this, where the numbers were actually good and he pitched well, but he couldn't get out of trouble in the first inning, and it winds up making the start look a lot worse than it did. These are the kind of seasons that, unfortunately, pitchers who miss spring training more often than not have. Where they struggle to get off the mat, they struggle to get any form of consistency because it started the year off inconsistently. So I don't hope that for Clarke Schmidt, of course, but it does feel like he's heading down that path.
Yeah. Now, for the offense, they fared better against Ortiz on April 23rd in Cleveland. They scored 4 runs in 4 1/3 innings off him, and it was their only win of that series. They lost 2 out of 3. First 2, and then they ended up salvaging the last game of that series. He was fine, but I didn't like some of the approaches that I saw at the plate against this guy all night.
Yeah, particularly, I know he's just coming back, but Jazz Chisholm Jr. looked quite lost at the plate. I'm not going to lie. I think part of the thing you love about his game is the confidence and the swagger that he brings to the plate, right? He's got that attitude up at the plate and on the field where he has a lot of confidence and he has a lot of groove to his game. And I think everyone likes that. But unfortunately, that does get carried away sometimes. And it leads to poor at-bats like this one here. He, the batting average has to be higher for him. I love the power numbers. The average has to be higher.
Well, this is the thing. This is one of my biggest pet peeves in baseball, along with a pitcher who goes 0-2 against someone and then gives up a hit to the person when it's 0-2. I don't like when a guy gets walked in front of you and the pitcher's kind of losing it, and then you're swinging at balls clearly out of the zone. This is what Jazz Chisholm did in, I can't remember what inning it is. I don't know if it says it on the image, but pitch number 5, which is mixed in with pitch 4, it's just out of the zone outside, and he swung at it like
that's enough. Strike 3.
Yeah, for strike 3, he was just flailing all over the place, and that's the thing. That
and it was a slider too. It was a slider too, so it started even further away from that.
Right.
It's just bothersome because you're giving at bats away, and like you said, when you're realizing the guy can't locate and is not able to find the zone, you can't give away at bats like that.
You can't bail him out. Like, why bail him out? And it's not just Jazz Chisholm. It's not just this game. You see it in other games with other guys doing the same thing. You've seen Volpe do it. You've seen Wells do it on multiple occasions, the two of them on multiple occasions, in spots where the Yankees have a chance to pull ahead or tie a game and they have runners on and the guys in front of them get on and they swing at pitches where you're just thinking to yourself, what are you doing? So how do you approach this as a manager? Like, how do you get these guys to have a better approach at the plate? Or would that would probably be the hitting coach, but
it's hard to teach. It's hard to teach because other times too, you want them to be aggressive. You kind of applaud that aggressiveness sometimes, but it's honestly, it's paying attention more to the game and knowing what's going on in the game. Like we always see that classic quote in baseball, but there is a game within the game in baseball. And maybe the game plan coming into this game and the scouting report did call for attacking him early, the pitcher, but you have to read the room, right? When there's a runner on in front of you and he's losing the plate, you kind of got to change your approach, slow it down a little bit and see if you can catch him off guard. Because Stacey, if he's not finding the plate and he's not able to get a strike across, he may later in the count, if he's down, try to lay one over the middle of the plate to try and get ahead, get a strike here and there. And that's when you attack. That's when you be aggressive. Make him throw you strikes. Instead, Jazz Chisholm gave him strikes. And that's just the not right way to approach it. And honestly, his average speaks for itself of giving away at bats.
Right. Because that's the thing. If your approach isn't working, if you're 4 or 5 innings into this guy's outing and whatever he's doing to you or whatever you're doing against him is not working, can't you change it up a bit? And like you said, you need to pay attention to what's happening in front of you. Like, I know they're on the on-deck circle. I know they kind of see what's happening. I mean, they must be paying attention and not just thinking to themselves, what am I going to do here? Like, they have to see what the guy in front of them is doing, and they have to act like they did, because sometimes they don't.
Scouting reports are fine going into a game, but you're allowed to adjust them after the 3rd or 4th inning.
Yeah, like, why does it not seem that they're like, why does it seem like they're not adjusting? That's my issue with them sometimes. Not all the time, but
clearly this is the problem in this game, though. Clearly was the problem, because their strategy here was to attack early and try and get ahead of him, and it didn't work out for them.
Yeah, so they finally got Ortiz out of the game. In the 6th, Judge hit a single, 92 pitches, 60 strikes. And then it didn't really matter because they didn't really get anything going till, of course, the bottom of the 9th, they teased you, and then nothing. Jazz, nothing.
No, yeah, you're right. I mean, it was not a good offensive showing at all.
No. Schmidt, 91 pitches, 64 strikes in those 5 2/3 innings. And like I said, he settled down nicely, but that first inning just killed him. And especially on a night where the offense isn't doing anything, they were out hit 12-5.
Yeah, you're not going to win many games like that.
No. And then Cruz didn't really help himself in that one inning. Like, when it was 3-0, I thought, okay, maybe they against the bullpen, whatever. But as soon as Cruz gave that home run up, and especially a 2-out home run after you get the first 2 outs and then you give up a 2-out home run and it makes it 4-0. And I thought, all right, let's just move on to tomorrow.
That change up sinker thing, that power sinker or power, whatever you want to call it. Unbelievable though. I mean, it's such a nasty pitch.
Yeah.
He makes people look silly on that, but he came back and looked good. The fastball, unfortunately, was grooved right over the middle of the plate, but overall, he did look good in this appearance.
Yeah, that was just one of those pitches.
It was one of those games. It really was. That pitch, that appearance was a microcosm of what the game was.
Pretty much. Hill, 1 inning, gave up 2 hits, 1 strikeout. Hedrick? Mm-hmm. Okay. Why did I not hear them say his name? I don't even know how to say it. That's so weird. It's Hedrick, right? Okay. Yeah. 1 1/3, no runs, gave up the 1 hit, came in right after Schmidt, got the 1 out in the 6th inning for him, and then pitched the 7th, then Cruz, then Hill. So, Thursday's game is going to be a rubber game. After winning, 7 straight series, now the Yankees are looking to not lose 2 series in a row.
That's baseball, Susan.
Yep. Don't forget, subscribe to the channel, hit the like button on our videos, hit the notification so you know when our videos go up. You can also join the Locked On Yankees Insiders Club. I sent them a bunch of things today. The link is in the description. You'll get text from us. You can text us questions, comments, reactions to trades and signings. We send out lineups during the season, roster moves, and breaking news, so you don't have to check social media. There's a 14-day free trial. Coming up, some of the stuff I sent out to the insiders, some Yankee news, and we have to discuss that next.
Get the supplies you need from the site made for the skilled trades, Supply House. And whether you're in plumbing, HVAC, or electrical work, Supply House is the reliable way to order products online. Their easy-to-use website is packed with helpful resources and the latest product info to help you get the job done right. Plus, with a complete inventory of over 200,000 parts from 400-plus top brands, you'll find exactly what you need, delivered fast from coast to coast. Need help with an order? Supply House offers expert support and industry-leading service, so you'll always talk to a real person. And for the trade pros looking for an extra edge, their free Trademaster program offers exclusive perks like a dedicated phone line, free shipping, and discounts available on every order. Thousands of skilled professionals are already taking advantage, and now it's your turn. Join the Trademaster program today at supplyhouse.com/TM and start ordering plumbing, HVAC, and electrical supplies with just a few clicks. Plus, you can use promo code SH5 for 5% off your first order. That's supplyhouse.com.
All right, so we have a new way for you to leave questions for Fan Mail Friday on YouTube. You just go to our page, you look at where it says post, you click on it, you scroll down to the latest post. I made the deadline 5 p.m. today because you're watching and listening to this on Thursday. So make sure you get those questions in. We appreciate all of you.
Of course we do. Flattering images of us on the main screen, by the way.
Oh, yes. I love taking screenshots of us mid-sentence. It makes us look really good. Yeah,
exactly.
So, in case you didn't know this, but you probably already did, Aaron Judge won AL Player of the Month for the 2nd month in a row. Not shocking. He's been incredible all year. But here are some interesting numbers that came out in the press release. It's his 4th May in a row that he's won AL Player of the Year.
I was keeping track. Like, cool.
Right? It's the 11th time in his career that he's won Player of the Month. And he hit 364, 453, 798 with only 11 home runs. And it was worse than his April, which is even funnier because anyone else would kill for those numbers in a month.
Pretty stupid. Also, Aaron Judge on all gambling sites right now is minus 8,000 to win the AL MVP. He's by far a prohibitive favorite. To put that in perspective, everybody's presumptive MVP in the National League, Shohei Ohtani, who's had a great year, is minus 120.
Wow.
Judge is minus 8,000. You need to wager $8,000 to win $100 if Aaron Judge wins the MVP.
That's incredible. Only Barry Bonds has more Player of the Month awards than Aaron Judge. He has 13, but Aaron Judge is creeping up on him. And if he keeps doing what he's doing, he might win 2 more this year.
I didn't watch Barry Bonds in his prime, but really quick, is Judge's all-around game better than Barry Bonds?
Yes.
It's incredible. I knew that, but I wanted to get your perspective because you watched his dominance.
Yeah, I think so. I believe so. But, someone might yell at me in the comments.
Sure. I mean, yeah, but it's just insane.
You know what I found interesting? The NL started doing Player of the Month awards way back in the 50s. And the AL didn't start doing it until the year I was born, 1974. I think it was like 1958 for the NL and 1974 for the AL. That just shows you how different the leagues were.
If you're a true baseball historian, it's fascinating to go back and look at those stories because the leagues had two commissioners for a while.
Mm-hmm.
Like they were legitimately two separate leagues for a very long time. It's fascinating to look back on those things.
Yep. Jake Cousins is rehabbing with Hudson Valley because Somerset and Scranton are on the road. That's another bullpen arm the Yankees will probably need while Weaver is out. So it's good to see him coming back. Hopefully he'll be okay and he can come back.
Yeah, and I wanted to get your take on it too, by the way, while we're on that topic. Because it looks like hamstrings are so weird and you really don't know. You can't give a specific timetable of when a guy's going to be back. And you don't know if he's fully healthy until he really goes at it 100%. So he's probably going to miss like a month and a half, probably up to the All-Star break is what Weaver's probably going to miss at this point. How do you view this, though? Do you view it as because I gave this take on last night's show. I think it's almost a mini positive for them because it keeps innings off Weaver's arm and it allows these other guys to get more higher importance innings and stuff like that. I almost think it's a weird blessing in disguise.
I think so, too, because he's never been a full-time closer.
No.
And with the way Boone has been using him lately, he was like Torreying him. Like Torrey used to do
pace for over 90 innings.
Like Torrey used to do to Scott Proctor and what he used to do to Tom Gordon and Paul Quantrill all those years ago. Just like wear these guys down until they can't throw in the playoffs. So this is a blessing in disguise because, I mean, you don't want Luke Weaver to be hurt. But when you think about what how the rest of the season could possibly play out, I would much rather have a fresher Luke Weaver in the playoffs than what could possibly happen if he plays all the way through.
Yeah, so I actually think that's a decent way to look at this. Do you want him to be out? No, but
no,
he's on pace for over 90 innings, and he's not used to that. So
yeah, because you're already seeing Boone overusing him, and it's early June, so
upsetting.
Yeah. Carlos Carrasco is back with Scranton, made it through waivers again. So he's just
not surprising. Yeah.
Yeah. Tyler Matzik, who was DFA'd by the Yankees 2 weeks ago, signed a minor league deal with the Cardinals. So good for him for getting with the team. Now, this was odd. I saw like this cryptic thing on, was it Blue Sky? Yeah. They put someone's tweet on Blue Sky and it said that there was still no word on Giancarlo Stanton, but Boone said that there may be something like right now. There's nothing, but maybe in 24 hours. So by Thursday, there should be more news about Stanton.
Yeah, that's quite cryptic, you don't say.
And I'm like, what does that mean? Like, what does that mean?
It means there's some kind of update. We just don't know what it is. We'll find out, I guess.
Yeah, Dominguez was available as a pinch runner if he were needed in Wednesday's game, but he wasn't needed because they barely did anything. They're saying the thumb feels it was there. That was another thing. There were like conflicting messages because I saw one thing saying that his thumb was swollen, then another one saying like 2 hours later that his thumb was fine or that it was feeling better. So I don't know. You know how the Yankees are with injuries.
I just hope it's not one of those, like things where they don't take it as seriously as it is. And then you wake up a month from now and it's like, oh, he needs thumb surgery.
Right.
You know what I mean? Knock on wood, but like that's the fear.
Let's hope that doesn't happen. Bryce Cunningham, didn't speak about him on Minors Monday because he was on the IL. He's now off the IL for Hudson Valley. So I thought I'd update everyone on that because we had mentioned him in the last like 2 or 3 Minors Mondays and we didn't on Monday. So just want to let everyone know Bryce Cunningham is off the IL for Hudson Valley. He'll be pitching again. Are there any other Yankees news and notes we need to discuss? I can't think of anything.
No, the Stanton stuff is getting interesting though because there's no updates. There was an update about a week ago on him on that he was going to start taking batting practice, and then that came. Nothing came of that. It's just weird. You get no updates on him. It's now been 2 months that he's been out.
Right. Yeah. No updates other than him threatening his teammates' lives if they showed off their American championship.
I liked that. I liked that threat.
No, I do too.
Yeah, like I don't know where that I hate to be this guy, but it feels like that like participation trophy kind of stuff. Like what do we? That's not, especially when it comes to the Yankees. You don't celebrate winning an AL pennant. It's cool and it's a good thing to put out, like put it outside the stadium that they won the American League in 2024. But the rings, no, you don't get a ring for coming in second place.
Yeah, like other teams celebrate it because they don't get to the playoffs that often. They don't get to the World Series that often. They don't win a pennant that often. Of course, but for the Yankees, I get it.
Yeah,
I get it.
Let's calm down.
And on the opposite, if the Yankees had won the World Series, you think the Dodgers would be celebrating an NL pennant ring?
No. You don't celebrate the kind of stuff. I don't even know why they give them rings, to be honest with you. It's weird.
Yeah, I mean, I guess because it's like the championship of your league, I guess.
Yeah, but like you said before, though, it's not like that anymore. Like, no one, especially with interleague play now. Like, these teams play each other all the time.
It's a technicality at this point because they're all the same thing.
Yeah,
they're all the same thing. Yeah. All right. Well, coming up, we're going to preview the finale between the Yankees and the Guardians, the rubber game, and then we'll tell you what's going on around the league next.
Ever check your bank account and wonder where'd all my money go? Between dining out, online shopping, and entertainment, it's very easy to lose track. And that's where Monarch Money comes in. Your personal CFO giving you full visibility and control over all your finances. And Monarch Money isn't just a budgeting app. It's a complete financial command center. You can track all your accounts, investments, and spending all available in one place. So you stop managing your money and you start building your wealth. And when I started using Monarch, I realized just how much I was spending on food delivery. And now I budget smarter and I save more. And instead of juggling multiple apps, you can use Monarch to check your finances, track your spending, and even plan for some of those long-term goals. Managing money with your partner is also smoother than ever. You can track your shared and personal accounts, set goals, and even stay on the same page without all the added stress. Take control of your finances with Monarch Money. Use code ONEWORD-LOCKEDONMLB at monarchmoney.com for 50% off your first year. That's monarchmoney.com, code ONEWORD-LOCKEDONMLB for half off your first year. And not only do we cover your team every day, but now we are giving you instant episodes after every single game. Check out the Locked On Yankees postcast. It's right here on the Locked On Yankees podcast feed, as well as streaming on our YouTube channel. Get rapid reaction to all the biggest moments with the Locked On Yankees postcast.
So we have ourselves a rubber game between Slade Saccani and Max Fried, who's looking to rebound after his not-so-great start in LA, where he gave up 6 runs. Remember, the Yankees lost 2 out of 3 to the Guardians in Cleveland, so we'll see how they do in this third and final game of the season series.
Yeah, the Max Fried stuff's still very prevalent there. Yankees are minus 265 in this game coming in. Huge favorites just because Max Fried has been so good, and it's a good bounce-back spot for Fried also, who's been extra dominant on the Yankee Stadium mound this year.
Right. And Sacconi is 1-1 with a 5.28 ERA compared to Fried, who's 7-1 with a 1.92. So giving up 6 runs and he still has a 1.92.
Yeah, ERA. Like that's the craziest thing, to give up 6 runs and keep your ERA that low. It's wild, Stacey.
So did you see what was happening between the Red Sox and the Angels on Wednesday afternoon? Because
I didn't. I wasn't around the league very much. I got to be honest with you on Wednesday because I'm seeing some notes in here now and I'm stunned.
It was wild. Okay, so the Angels jumped out to a 4-0 lead in the first inning, and then Boston scored 5 in the bottom of the first to make it 5-4.
Woof.
And it was just back and forth for much of the game. Lucas Giolito, 1 2/3 innings, 8 hits, 7 earned runs, 1 walk, 1 K, and so far this season he's 1-1 with a 6.42 ERA.
Not what they were expecting, that's for sure.
No. So after a back and forth fight where the Red Sox were up 8-7, then it was tied 8-8, then the Angels went up 9-8, and the Red Sox tied at 9-9. The Red Sox ended up winning in the bottom of the 9th on a home run that wrapped around the pesky pole. It had to be reviewed because they weren't sure if it actually went around it or if it went on the other side of it, but it did. It was a home run, 308 feet, and the call was upheld. I don't want to hear anyone complain about Yankee Stadium again when a ball is hit barely 300 feet and it's a home run.
Yeah, again, like you always say, they play with the same size wall as both teams do. So
yeah. And then here we go. So we've been talking about how horrible the Colorado Rockies have been this season.
How can you not?
But wouldn't you know it, they go to Miami, they play the Marlins, and they sweep them. So now they're 12-50 on the season. It's their first 3-game winning streak of the season. It was their first sweep in over a year since mid-May of 2024. And now there's just about 7 games behind the White Sox for worst record in baseball as of Wednesday afternoon. So
yeah, don't look up now, Dodgers, because here come the mighty Colorado Rockies.
Yeah, look at that. But it's amazing. We really were giving them the stuff especially on Monday's episode. And here we are recording this Wednesday night for Thursday. And the Rockies have won 3 in a row. And the poor Marlins, when they lost that game, the broadcasters were just like,
They should. I mean, it's pathetic to lose to get swept by the Rockies. Is pathetic. Now in their 12 wins for the Rockies, they have 6 wins at home and 6 wins on the road.
Mm-hmm.
So props to them. They're now only 25 and a half games back. They were 27 games back, Stacey. So, I mean, they're only 25 and a half back now. 194 win percentage. So that they're almost over 200. And their run differential down to only minus 181 now. It was minus 187 when we talked about it. So, here they come. Train kept rolling.
One more note about the Red Sox, because I forgot to include this. This is from Tuesday night. They lost the game against the Angels 4-3. At that point, still, because Wednesday's game was an 11-9 win, because it was a 2-run home run. The Red Sox have lost 17 one-run games this season.
That's a problem.
It's the most one-run losses in team history through 61 games. And right now, after Wednesday's win, they're 30-34 on the season. Now, we talked about the Yankees, and you mentioned this on yesterday's show. They went from being 5-10 in one-run games, and now they're 11-11 in one-run games.
And the importance of those games cannot be stressed enough. Just having your team be comfortable to play in those games, right? It's not even just about being able to win those games. It's the comfort level of playing in them and having the confidence to know, oh, we're fine here. It's a 1-run lead. We're fine. Teams, it's one of those things you can't really practice for. You don't know when you're going to be up 1 run in games and how many you're going to have. Yeah. But to lose these games is a whole other thing, because to play in them and win them is to have confidence that the Yankees are doing. To play in them and lose them is to have a complete lack of faith in yourself, like the Red Sox. And that trickles down throughout the whole team, Stacey, because now when relievers come in, they get a little more nervous because they know the team doesn't win those games. It's a whole trickle-down effect throughout your entire roster. So, yeah, not a good showing for Boston, who, I got to be honest with you, they now dropped to 4th place in the division. They're 30-34 up to tonight. They're 9 games back in the Yankees. Boston's had an unbelievably lackluster start to their season. Me and you both thought they'd be way better than they actually have been.
Yeah, and of course, the Yankees will be playing them, and now that we've trashed them, they're going to win 2 out of 3 against the Yankees, because that's usually how it works.
They're 13-18 on the road, but it's weird. They're under 500. They're 13-18 on the road. They have a plus 13 run differential. So they are scoring. It's just and their offense has struggled a lot too with Bregman now too.
Yeah, that's a big injury, because he was doing really well. Like he was, if it weren't for Aaron Judge, he would be like one of the number 1 MVP candidates just with the way he was hitting. And I know it's a pretty bad injury, because the way he was talking about it, he said it could be as bad as the one he had in 2021, and he was out for a while with that one. So
yeah, he's going to miss significant time. So that's a real bummer for them. I'm just stunned with how bad they've been, the Red Sox. I mean, they should be playing. I honestly thought at this point in the season, they'd be right on par where the Yankees are right now.
But that's
and they're not.
That is quite 16 one-run games. Like that's.
Yeah, but you know what though? Like the point we've been making with the Yankees, that's led to them having every opportunity to cash in on it. Mm-hmm. and be good in those games and play well in those games. You're not giving guys in your bullpen experience pitching in those games. The infielders aren't getting experience fielding late in those games. They're just losing all these games. It's really, they're in a rough spot. They really are, because it's not like they can sell in a month, right? They've got too many guys, and they finally turned this thing around. They just signed Bregman to a long-term deal. Trevor Story's on a long-term deal. Devers is on a long-term deal. So you're not selling anytime soon. It's just they're in a tough spot, because I don't think anyone in their right mind had them being this bad. No one did. So it's
I mean,
wild.
they have time to turn it around, because they can be annoying
but they've dropped to 4th place in the division. They're 9 games back. Like I don't want to steal things, but it is getting a little late early. No, I mean 9 games back in June is not. I mean it's happened before, and it can happen, but it's not. We're not talking cakewalk. Also, I mean, you thought them getting Giolito and Crochet would be this 1-2 dynamic that's at the top of that rotation. Mm-hmm. Giolito 1-1, 6.42 ERA, only 27 strikeouts. I mean, that's a problem too. It is. Yeah, they're in a world of hurt.
Yeah, I'm not going to write them off though, because they're annoying.
No, neither will I. But still,
because I feel like that would be a bad thing if we did that, because things can turn around.
What about Baltimore? Are they written off according to you? 13 and a half games back, 23-36.
Yeah, I I don't see them being able to catch up to
too much. They've dug too much of a hole.
I think they've dug too much of a hole. It is possible, though, if things turn around for them and the Rays, the Red Sox, and the Blue Jays kind of beat up on each other and the Orioles kind of sneak in with them, there's still a chance that they could do something. I don't think they're going to take over the division lead, but there is a possibility that they could, maybe, but who knows? Because I don't know. I don't think Charlie Morton improving is enough. I think, you know, guys who are having rough seasons on the offense need to wake up, because some of those guys are just not doing what they're supposed to be doing.
The telltale sign usually of determining how good a team actually is, if they're below what they should be, run differential, they're minus 89.
Oof.
Yeah. So that's a problem too. And the Yankees, after losing by 4 runs, are still plus 95.
Right.
So that's a huge problem if you're Boston.
Yeah, and there's an 18-2 loss in there, and they're still plus 95.
Yeah.
So
think about that.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you guys for making Locked On Yankees your first listen today. For your second listen, check out the all-new Locked On MLB Game Night. Every game, every night, all season long. You get local analysis on a national scale. And whenever the Yankees do well, you'll see Brian's face on that show, usually.
Yes.
You can find MLB Game Night on Locked On MLB on YouTube or wherever you listen to your podcasts. So that'll do it for this edition of Locked On Yankees. I'm Stacey Gotsulias.
And I'm Brian McKeon. We'll catch you guys tomorrow for Fan Mail Friday.